Hello, welcome back. Rogue's Passage podcast, episode 5, I guess. I'm Tanner Cherry. We're here to discuss something very important that has not been addressed properly in years. 6 years.
At all.
Wizards of the Coast? Why is Crested Sunmare not a legendary creature? I want to build Air Horse 1.
You suck. How dare you deprive us of dreams?
I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Brady Magpie. I don't quite agree, but I also now agree. Completely.
I don't quite agree, but maybe I do.
Well, now the thoughts in my head. That's fucking amazing.
Dude, I've wanted to build that deck
Air
for ages.
Horse 1.
Air Horse 1, it's so good.
Oh, God.
It's so stupid.
Flight of the Pegasus that has like, this is the game.
Does that card not read like a legendary?
It does. Absolutely. It's a horse tribal legendary.
Yeah, horse tribal and oh man.
Felidar Sovereign even, you know?
WOTC.
So I'm Brando with the Rogue's Passage, if you didn't already know. And let me add to that. I propose Magic, do away with non-legendary creatures. Just make them all legendary at this point. Why not? You know what? Why not?
Okay, well, it ruins constructed formats, but
Yeah, it does horribly. Also fucks with my ways of customizing things.
Just remove the legend rule entirely, and we're good.
I love the legendary role. Keep that alive.
The funny thing is, like, I think Crested Sunmare was like one of the first creatures that I got excited about when I was like a straight up raw dog brand new to Magic Timmy. Like, I got like a foil version from the card store, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get 3 more of these. And I built a constructed deck, a standard deck built around Crested Sunmare, and it sucked. Holy, did that deck suck?
I ate quite a lot of hoof.
Yeah. No,
so much hoof.
I know how you feel. With my Aloro deck, I tried to make it work in there. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. My life gains creating horses, and then they're all indestructible and stuff. It just didn't work.
Actually,
I ended up trading it to him, just being just like, you can make use of this.
And you know what? Stomped face in Lathiel, the bounteous one, or bounteous Dawn. Holy crap.
Is that the Selesnya?
It's the Selesnya. Every time you would gain life, at each end step, you just incrementally get more terrifying.
The card's right here.
Lathiel.
Yes.
You Selesnyan unicorn sluts out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back. We're here to talk about really, really important, hard-hitting, absolute total bullshit.
These are the questions that have never been asked ever in the game.
Yeah.
Ever.
What do we have on the dock today? We wanted to start out
First off,
group talking about the
new Commander Masters precons and kind of Commander Masters itself, because it's
controversial as all hell.
Yeah. Realistically, I'll take us away here with talking about the decks, because we have slivers, which whoever imagined, like, thank you, Wizards, but I think you pissed more people off by printing a sliver commander.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing.
We have the Eldrazi, which again, thank you, because sliver and Eldrazi are my
that I agree with.
Are my jam. I had a deck, a colorless Eldrazi deck, and a 5-color sliver deck well before this, and you guys forced me to throw my money at you so that I can make them better.
I do appreciate the love letter. The kiss to our cheeks was received.
Yeah.
Brandon here put the work into grabbing the decks for us here. I got my hands on the Abzan Enchantment Matters deck, and I'm super excited as a failed Miracle player.
Yep.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and then we have Mr. Scruff himself.
Commodore Gruff.
Commodore Gruff.
Commodore Gruff.
Is it Guff?
For
Guff or Gruff?
It's Guff. It's Guff. It's Guff.
Let's
take a little look.
Let's drink about it.
While he looks it up to confirm, Commodore.
I think it's Commodore Gruff. I think it's Commodore Gruff.
Commodore insert. He's Planeswalker
Commodore
Matters.
This guy.
Yeah, Commodore this guy. He's Planeswalkers Matters. He's our newest. I think the proper term for it is called Super Friends, where you play
the official Super Friends Commander.
Yeah, where you play just as many Planeswalkers as you can.
Shout outs to Image Prompt Index. Has one of the earliest prompts images of him, and he looks like a batshit crazy kooky motherfucker. I love it.
Oh yeah.
What is Index?
Index is look at the top. So it's a sorcerer speed, 1 blue. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Rearrange them in any order. Nice and simple. Sometimes can really screw you if you don't have the right synergies, or if it is your turn 1 and you happen to shuffle so brilliantly as to screw yourself. But aside from that, amazing, and the art is spectacular. I think it came out in Odyssey or Judgment.
I think so. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think Odyssey.
Okay, so
Or
you guys
Apocalypse maybe.
We bought all four.
Bought all 4 of these decks.
We got all 4. Well,
Are they all
one-
spoken for?
Technically, yes. Two of
Technically.
them. So the Sliver and the Eldrazi's are coming to me because I'm a bitch for because I'm a bitch for both being a menace at the table as well as anything that involves like existential dread. Which, let's be real, Slivers everybody hates, and Eldrazi's everybody hates slightly less. With that though,
I don't know. That's actually a debate. We can have an entirely different. Who hates what more?
So
Eldrazi over Slivers.
I'll just sit back and say because of this, and I'm so excited for this.
Are you slithering up the urethra, or are you destroying an entire continent?
I have yet to sit down with my Sliver deck, and I purposely built it to be bad. It is oops all Slivers, and my win con, other than Slivers being incredibly oppressive.
Your win
creature
con
types,
is a non-creature card that you
it's
cycle
primal.
into.
It's Primal Surge, which is 2
Big
green,
surprise.
2 green and 8. I think it's an expensive card.
It is. Takes
Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield. You may repeat this process. So if I hit my mana, I literally just play all my Slivers. There's 3 haste Slivers. There's 2 Slivers that generate mana on tap, and then ward Sliver, this, that. Like,
I don't know. I've played your Sliver deck a number of times. I don't know if I've ever actually seen you like pull that off.
You know what?
There's been a couple.
He has.
Yeah, there's been a couple, and it's one of those things where just like if the counterspell isn't in hand, I do win. We had one game way back in the day where one of our friends, I did that. He played something that basically, I think he fogged himself, and so he survived for a turn, and then he psych rifted me.
And
then
he should have.
And then he's like, "Oh, but you can't do anything." The funny thing about Psych Rift, though, after I've played all the lands in my deck, is oops, I have all of the mana I need. So I didn't even move to discard.
Don't knock don't knock him for trying.
Oh yeah, don't knock him for trying.
Don't knock him for trying.
It was admirable.
You're filled with dread,
Yeah.
existential dread that literally replaces all joy,
Yeah.
all love,
Yeah.
all light
Yeah.
in your life. What can you do except
Yeah.
Psych Rift? And even if it doesn't do what you want, at least you tried. You went down swinging.
Yep. Counterpart to that is I've been like the biggest fan of Eldrazi when I first was getting back into the game. We kind of talked about that on our first podcast. Go check that out.
Yeah.
One of the first cards that I pulled out of like a pack or set was Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, and I felt instantly in love. After
Makes
that,
you feel things.
I felt the same way when I pulled Relinquished from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Instantly, I went out of my way. I got all of the Annihilator Eldrazi's. I went and I fashioned every Eldrazi that had been printed at the time. And I probably went through like 8 different deck techs. I think I talked about it on our first podcast as well. Prime Speaker Zagana was my first one.
Yep.
Who, by the way,
Heck
up
and
until
swole.
this podcast, I have had to deal with this for the last 3 years. I got to see its dismantling.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I was so satisfied.
Because I've tried everything under the sun to try and make Annihilator Eldrazi's work. And of course, they do their thing. They hit. Sometimes they're a nuisance.
Annihilator.
Annihilator. But none of them have worked the way I wanted to. And then in come, thank you, Wizards, with the Zuladoc, the Void Gorger.
You know what? And the art.
Actually, let's bring this up as well.
Image prompt here.
This is,
Bam! Look at this bad bitch.
if I remember from memory, whenever you cast a colorless
Whenever
spell,
you cast a colorless spell that costs 7 or more mana.
7 or greater? Yeah. 7 is like the Tron number, right?
Yeah.
Like
This Tron number, but it's also for the Eldrazi.
and
It's
then
the-
you
it's the
cascade.
cap.
You cascade
It's
twice.
the mana cap.
Double cascade triggers.
But then
2 for the price of 1.
But
Two for the price.
They also did like the most broken thing that they could have done, and they gave us Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, a band card on a stick twice. They gave us a,
What do you mean?
Well, explain that a bit.
they gave us an instant and sorcery, or they gave us, I believe, a sorcery that I think is 9 colorless mana, or like it's like 2 generic and then 7. It's expensive.
Well, hold on. How do I open another tab?
It's called Rise of the Eldrazi. It has the effects of
Yeah, Rise of the Eldrazi is an insane card.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a new card.
How
right?
much does that rise?
It's the new. It's one
Asking
of,
for
it's one,
curious.
It's one of the new 10 cards that they've printed for this Commander deck. You draw 4 cards. I think you exile 2 target permanents, and then you take an extra turn after this one, which is it's a little bit of flavor of all of the OG Titans.
The card is on screen now. It is 9 generic.
Yep.
3 colorless.
Yep.
With the wingdings, the the wastes mana.
A lot of dick.
It's called Rise of the Eldrazi. It is a sorcery. This spell can't be countered. Dick move.
So
Destroy,
much dick.
destroy target permanent.
Okay, it's one permanent.
Target player draws 4 cards.
Yep.
And take an extra turn after this
That's
one. And then you
fucking
exile it.
stupid.
So it's not recurable.
No.
But for, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana sorcery?
Then
You
I
know
mean,
what?
realistically, if you're not playing colorless, if you're playing like one of the blue or red archetypes that are copying spells, it doesn't matter that you
Oh
exile
my! Any storm deck that revolves around replication. Holy cow! All you got to do is copy that a few times, build the right brew for it. You are gonna pop off. Yes, the mana might seem steep, but we're talking today's Magic. We're talking treasure assist. We're talking instant speed, flash. Just throw anything out there, get it done. If you want to be competitive, you will want to abuse this card. That looks amazing.
Oh yeah. And then following
And
that
the
up.
art, that's so cool.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you may have.
And then following that up is the next card, which I'm surprised that they
They're
printed.
just chilling.
Which I'm surprised that they printed. Flayer of Loyalties. It is a new Annihilator Eldrazi. They brought back Annihilator for one creature, and it's amazing because guess what it does? It, on ETB, is also very powerful. You'll see it here. We'll display it. It basically allows, when you play it, when ETBs, you basically get to, in red fashion, take control of somebody else's creature for the turn and put a free Eldrazi conscription on it, which you're giving it
Until end of turn, it has base power and toughness 10/10 and gains trample, Annihilator 2, and haste.
Yeah.
That looks like the most triumphant vagina I've ever seen. Eldritch style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've all already
Where's
seen
its
these.
bean?
Yeah, I'm sure you've all already seen this card being played on some of the other channels on YouTube.
It's literally a uterus.
A little
Okay,
bit.
Brady.
I'm sure you've all already seen this being played on some of the other channels on YouTube, and like realistically, I couldn't be happier, and it's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen printed in Magic. It's it costs what 10 mana.
8 and 2 colorless. It's a 10 mana 10/10 with Annihilator 2 and trample. It kind of like reminds me of the badass common, the Ulamog's Crusher. It's an 8 mana. 8 mana 8/8 Annihilator 2.
Yep.
Attacks each
combat Fable.
But of course, I mean, that's a common. This is a rare. This has many more text. This is much more akin to a rare.
Yeah, so imagine like
Flayer of
realistically,
Loyalties.
Flayer of Loyalties should not be the name of the universal symbol of life.
I mean it's not. It's
Eldrazi is this universal symbol of life.
Image prompt here.
but yeah, no, it's
a giant eldritch ute.
yeah.
Refute me on this one.
Geez. Yeah. They gave us a creature that regardless of that, they gave us a commander that when I cast that, I'm going to cast a creature that has Annihilator. I'm going to steal a creature that then has Annihilator and be throwing that at somebody, and then I'm cascading twice.
Well, so
That's so
this Flayer of Loyalties.
Oh, that's so good, bro.
It's so gross.
The Flayer of
It's too
Loyalties
good.
doesn't have haste, but it gives haste to whatever you grab. That is insane.
Yeah.
That's
I want to add that to my run Storm deck.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean,
Sounds
outside
pretty sweet.
I haven't looked at all at like the contents of all of these decks. I'm really curious. Looking at Commodore Guff here, I brought up the card image, and you'll see it now. At the beginning of it, so it's a Jeskai
He
plus
looks
one.
like Wingbeard.
Yeah,
He does a little
That's
bit.
awesome.
Shout out to Nick, bro.
Shout out to Nick. They printed you a Super Friends.
He's
Oh,
got
my
a static ability, which upon reading it, I think that it could have been much better. It says at the beginning of your end step, put a loyalty counter on another target planeswalker you control.
You know
It would
what?
have been so much better if that was the beginning of your combat or
But it has blue.
post-combat main phase.
There's blue, and there's also cool cards now that support double end step or beginning of upkeep.
It's too much work. That's too much work.
Hey,
This is
if you like working,
It's a planeswalker commander. Like Commodore Guff can be your commander.
Yep.
It would be sweet if your commander, who's a planeswalker, would like if you think about getting the buff from this, getting the thing that this does, putting a counter on a planeswalker, and then you have to wait an entire turn cycle to use it, whereas the planeswalker might be dead.
Yep.
That seems like a big fail.
Well, part of that too, and it does kind of show in the actual like pricing of these decks now too. Everybody's been covering this specific topic, so we won't get super into it. But at current point in time, the Sliver deck is holding, I think, the highest monetary value, and it retains that highest monetary value for actual sell-off. Where I think the total cards in the deck technically sell for close to $120-ish. I'm gonna be very wrong, and this might be very much changed by the time you see this. Followed by the Eldrazi deck, and then I believe it is Guff in third place, and then it's the enchantment deck, which surprised me, which was the lowest total technical value.
People don't like using their brains. I'm not surprised.
Either way,
check it out.
Either way, I'm stoked. I've been on cloud 9 ever since they announced these, and that's my piece
Honestly,
for today.
as a failed Miracle player, who is the Abzan commander, who is from Baldur's Gate, indestructible if you have less than half of your starting life total.
Wait,
and then
I'm confused. Miracle is an ability?
Miracle is a card. Miracle, Lord of Bones.
Okay.
So if you have less than half of your life starting life total, your creature, Miracle, is indestructible. And then whenever a creature, a non-token creature you control dies, you exile it and you create a enchantment version of it, which normally leaves you very wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, being very fast-paced, combo-oriented, but fast-paced, it did not work. And now we have this this commander that literally gives enchantment creatures menace, does similar things, but on a completely different spectrum. Oh, man, I can't be more excited. I am so excited.
Yeah, and stay tuned, because I'm not sure how it's going to work out between this, you guys seeing this, and our future Commander games, but we are probably, we're going to be showcasing all of these new decks on the channel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like pre-con or as built? Just
I think probably
so.
I think probably edited, to be honest.
okay.
Well,
I mean, we could do pre-cons as built.
give
We
me the
could
power, I
if we
will.
bring Aiden on, because he was the one who out of the four earlier who
my
grabbed,
grasshopper!
yeah who,
Shout out to Aiden.
yeah. If we bring him on the channel, he was the one who grabbed the Planeswalker deck. So we will have all four. It's up to you then, Tanner, to decide what do you want, Slivers or Eldrazi.
Which one? You're owning them. I'm going to pilot one?
Yeah,
I shall
Probably Slivers.
ponder.
yeah.
I
Probably
shall
Slivers.
ponder.
Because we could.
You're leaving with very little options.
Well, I mean, we could shift it around. People could play whatever decks that they want. It's just
I would love to have my grasshopper.
You whatever you choose. You just hand me one. I'll play it.
Bring on my grasshopper.
I'm sure
I
you
want
wanna
him on
play-
here immediately.
yeah.
I'm sure
Please do
you
me
probably want
proud.
to play. Actually, I don't know. You're kind of 50-50 Sliver Eldrazi.
Yeah. Oh, it literally doesn't matter to me either way. I'm only concerned of us not necessarily doing that because legitimately everybody and their dog who's making content for Magic has already put these episodes out or are working on them right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Whose dog?
wait.
What?
Does
I said-
someone's dog have a YouTube channel?
Are
I
you
have to see
generalizing, bitch?
Actually, yes. There's a couple of them.
Actually, yeah, there's lots of dog YouTube channels.
Yeah. No, there's one specifically that I have followed for a while. I don't follow them religiously. I think it's I can't remember. It's a little like Chow Chow, and they've been making videos for the last 5 years. It's so adorable. It's just literally the life, they half narrate them going about their day, and it's just good content. It's so wholesome.
Yeah, there's one that always comes up on my feed of I think it's just two little are they otters?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, they're just it's amazing. Sometimes you look at something and it's just wow, like a millions and millions of views.
What?
Give me the glasses.
Oh.
Oh,
That was a perfect moment. And now
totally.
we can
You should
awkwardly
have
slide
no
into this.
distraction whatsoever.
No, that was actually perfect.
Glasses hot swap.
Tanner,
slide into.
I insist you start
That
this
was-
conversation with otters. Please. Do not tease my tits right now.
Hey Brady,
Yes.
what are you talking about? Okay, we want to slide into the next topic. We got a glasses hot swap.
Yeah, you said you had.
Glasses hot swap.
Yeah, you said you had
Hot take.
a hot take to share.
A hot take. I shared my hot take about.
What's my hot take?
Crested
Here's my
sunlight.
hot take.
Oh, was it okay?
Well, wait, no. Did I say I had a hot take about? What was it?
I don't know. You were very vague earlier, so I was. I mean,
You
might
were
have-
like, we should write this down. I was like, it's all right. I got it.
I thought it was about the horse Force 1.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about all of the crazy stuff. This was only yesterday. Magic was at the Gen Con and they announced the next 3 years of products, which is insane. I know they usually do hey, here's the stuff that's coming out over the next 12 months. But they just stretched into 2026 and they were like, hey, here's all of the fucking big products that we're working on, and I wonder why they did that. I'm actually really curious why they went so far into
They're
the future.
desperate to assume that society might collapse, so they just want to just kind of keep us distracted.
Well, I mean,
Like, they're on top of their game. I don't think they need to go that far into the future, but I think they're excited because
It is
I'm
ambitious.
excited.
I think what it is realistically, and I mean, not that they're going to, but Hasbro, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is Hasbro's doing of just, we live in a weird era nowadays of hype where we'll use like a few years ago, like Cyberpunk 2077 as an example. That went through a year of hype, and then all of a sudden it turned into like everybody was like half disappointed or half like, oh my God, it's the best
More
thing
than
ever.
half.
Yeah. I think it's kind of that. I think it could just be Wizards of the Coast, but I think it's a little bit of Hasbro being just like, if we're transparent about our plans, people can get all of their anger and frustration or their hype out of the way, and then they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but I
That's
feel
a
like
good way of looking at it.
I feel like that kind of stuff, it's like you only have a certain amount of hype that you like. If you spoil that many products at once, then aren't you like sort of at a drought for like spoilers?
Well, I
for
mean,
years?
they might always have the affordability of time to adjust given expectations. So they might be using this time to actually take in notes. Be like, okay, here's the plan. And now they're going to use all of the guffaw that our community is notorious for, which is like, oh, I don't like this. I want it to be this way.
Yeah.
They're going to actually use these stats now to actually fine-tune a better
Ooh,
product.
Maybe it's market research.
I think it's market research on a psychologically pathological.
Yeah, it's hearing the
level.
community speculations.
Thanks, Hasbro.
Yeah, it's hearing community speculations, and then people coming out of the woodwork being like, "Oh, this is what I'd love to see. Oh, this is what I wouldn't like to see."
It would make sense, given how anyone you can post one image on any group chat and everyone will just react to what their expectations aren't met. Oh no, here's my opinion. Hear me roar.
They just whinge and whinge.
And so now
and
they're
whinge.
probably why not use this amount of wind,
Yeah.
generate some energy into a turbine, and actually make a better product from it.
Well, see, here's the thing. So we're hot off the tail of Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle Earth, a Magic the Gathering Deckmaster product, Richard Garfield. Great set. Best-selling set they've ever done, right? Like the biggest
I think
banger,
so.
the biggest banger they've ever done because they crossed swords with one of like this giant
Yeah.
IP
Oh yeah.
that is also fantasy. Because I remember like early on when they talked about doing this Lord of the Rings thing, I remember on the podcast that I listened to, people were like, "This is kind of weird. Like, are we gonna face off against Gandalf?" And it was weird at first, but now that if you think about it, it's like, yeah, you're gonna face off against Gandalf.
Yeah.
It's fantasy.
Yeah. There's also
It's exactly the same world as every friggin' plane that you go to. It's
Yeah.
not that big of a thing.
Yeah, which is the credit to this amongst the other crossovers, because like I love like the Warhammer and all that stuff.
The Warhammer one was amazing.
Yeah, like some of them people are okay with, some of them they're not. Like, quick anecdote: I'm not the biggest. I love Doctor Who. I don't want Doctor Who in my Magic. I'm sorry, but
I completely disagree.
But to circle around to that, it's like Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's work. He basically was the brainchild who came up with most of these races. Like, I don't know if he's credited with elves, but when it comes to like orcs, when it comes to
he created the Orcish language.
Yeah.
He also created the unique variation of Dwarvish.
Yeah.
As we understand it, because there's a lot of dwarven mythology and like Gaelic and all those kind of mythologies.
We owe a lot to Tolkien.
Tolkien is the modern pioneer. He's the cure of goth music. Okay, he literally paved the way for all modern fantasy as we know it.
Yeah, magic without him would not exist in the way that we did even before the Lord of the Rings set.
A shout out to Arthurian mythology. He did lean heavily on that. But aside from that, no, like there's nobody in history who put the work in linguistics and even
So to leapfrog to the next, this is I think late 2025.
Yeah.
When they announced that they were going to do a crossover with a certain IP,
Yeah.
I hoped to God that they was going to get the Lord of the Rings treatment to be a full set, to be released on Arena, to be all the art cards, all the storybook, all the chase cards. I am so happy that Final Fantasy is getting the full treatment. They announced finally that Final Fantasy is going to get the same treatment as Lord of the Rings.
Cool.
And I'm so curious to see if Lord of the Rings crossed with MTG is going to be bigger than Final Fantasy crossed with MTG. And I really want to know if they're going to do a 1-on-1 Buster Sword.
Oh, they better.
Or some shit.
They better.
Man.
As like something like similar but different to Blackblade Reforged.
I don't know. If you, I want to say yes as a
About
Final
a
Fantasy
serialized
fan.
Or
I suspect something like a serialized card for sure. In fact, I suspect nothing but more serialized cards going forward, especially when it comes to very popular. When it comes to very popular meta, very 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 popular pop culture. Specifically, I think no matter what, you can do that. It's very easily justifiable.
You know what's funny is in our second episode, you were like really opposed to the one.
I was,
I
was, and then I saw that how it actually did make sense. Like it was an Ontario or Toronto man.
Toronto, yep.
It was a Toronto man who ended up getting the One Ring, and ironically, and then he also got a misprint. Like it was graded as 9, wasn't it? So like all these expectations.
Well, there wasn't a misprint.
It was
the card. He had it valued.
It was just bad.
The One Ring.
9 is not bad. 9
Zero
is really good.
0
It's not 10 for the One Ring.
Yeah, 0 0
What,
1.
should it have been 1?
0 0 1 out of 0 0 1. The serialized One Ring.
Well, so we're talking about the one of One Ring.
Yeah.
It was found that getting a 9. You have to understand that from the grading company, they said there is not a single piece of reference to compare it to.
So here's the thing. Now here's my 2 cents. Why wouldn't Hasbro, in all of its financial stability, guarantee that the one card that made this much emphasis matter the most for a crossover as significant for Magic the Gathering as Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Oh,
Why didn't you specifically fine-tune tailor that card?
I have the answer.
Same.
I guarantee you that they printed that thing at 10. And then they put it in a piece of plastic and shipped it around the fucking world. And then it was peeled out of a pack.
Yeah. There's
and it was opened by human fingers without gloves.
Yeah.
Or something like it.
There's a second
when
answer.
the PSA graded it, if it has micro abrasions, and if it I'm sure the centering was fine. I'm sure that all of that was great, but this actually speaks to the fact that when not Alpha Investments, Open Boosters, when they did that video where he opened the Lotus and he freaked out and his hands were shaking and he was wearing little blue gloves and he was as careful as he could. Any tiny bit of interaction physically in the the universe that he had with that card starts to degrade the grading because a 10 is near impossible because a 10 means there's no dimpling on the side. There is
a second answer
on the face.
Well, there is a second answer to
quick
this.
Quick counter question though. Why couldn't they have just because in our first podcast we were talking about a voucher. Why couldn't
a pre-sealed 10?
A pre-sealed 10, a guaranteed from Hasbro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mint.
Because I ask you,
perfect.
What does it matter?
It was a 4.
It's the One Ring.
There isn't.
It is one of the most titular examples of influential fantasy culture in the world.
I have the exact answer. I have the exact answer to it.
Okay, go.
There is one single answer as to why any of this happened the way it did. These companies, Wizards of the Coast, they love it for the hype. They do not care about the grading process. They do not give a fuck, and they never will.
Should.
It's
true.
It's second.
really
a
should.
9 is a serious win to them.
It's secondary market. Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro by extension, they love their card stores having the ability to sell these cards and hype things up and be able to fund themselves off of trade-ins that they don't see any monetary value of. None of these card companies, it's same for Pokemon, same for Yu-Gi-Oh! They gain no benefit in the slightest between something being graded a 9 or a 10.
I don't know. I feel like by potentially messing with the level of importance that something like the One Ring could have in its entirety.
But
a mass worldwide community,
I would say that
potentially introducing new players to the game.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you make that a worshipped process?
I saw them advertising this. The One Ring was found on Calgary local news, the global news. And also, then when Post Malone purchased it, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Posty fucking.
Of course, it was
swooped
Posty.
in,
Thank
of
you.
course, and bought
Actually,
it.
thank
and
you.
actually, what a gem. The dude, the guy was like, I want $2 million for it, and Posty was like, I'll give you $2 million for it. And then the whole system was like, okay, there's a certain tax that you have to pay for a large purchase like this in America, and it ended up being like $600,000. And Posty was like, I'll pay for that too, so that you get your $2 million. Like, what a gem!
Yeah.
What a gem!
Posty, fuck
Bro. Oh yeah. If there was
We
anybody,
already want you on here. Now we're like,
yeah. If there was anybody in the world who, like, realistically, like, I think we can all say that we're glad that it ended up in the hands in overall.
A passionate collector.
A passionate collector who's, and I'm going to be mad at you, Posty. I hope you see this. If you don't fucking, but triple, quadruple sleeve it if you want. If you don't play that fucking thing on camera, why did you buy it?
I heard
I
about
want to see that too.
I heard about a theory here, because like Post Malone also wild enough, like he's like unhinged in certain ways, right? He might be crazy enough to split that slab and sleeve that bitch up.
Yeah. That's
like,
what I mean.
Who cares? Like, I want to say, who cares what the grade is?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the grade is, that card will always be the only one that ever exists.
Exactly. That's
So,
what
like,
I was. That's what I was saying on the other
I would
podcast.
love
Please.
it. I would love to see him reprise his role on game nights and draw a $2.5 million card and place it on the battlefield.
Right? Like, come on, let's go. Posty, you're the only man who can do it now.
Stones on that
You
man.
have our support.
You have the One
You
Ring.
live your life, you opulent bitch. Please. Please, bro.
I just have 2 words for you, Posty. Do it.
And then come on our channel and do it. Let us be the channel that you play it on.
Please. Oh, that's how you have it.
You can find us at The Rogue's Passage.
I will say, in closing of this whole thing, when the ring was found, and the guy who found it was like, I want to remain anonymous, and then for like weeks it fizzled into the void, and I was like, most people were like, really, that's where this story went? It was just like, we're not going to hear about it, we're not going to get to talk about it. So apparently I heard that the guy who ripped it, he sat and thought about it for a little bit, and he was like, I know that Post Malone's probably going to be the right person to contact. And he was like, how the fuck do I get a hold of Post Malone? So he was like, I need to send a video, because he videotaped himself opening it. And apparently that video's out now.
Ooh,
because
fun.
he sent it to Prof.
Yeah.
He sent it to the professor,
Oh,
and the professor was like, yeah, this is fake. And just didn't.
Oh, wow.
He looked at it and he was like, another fake.
Oh, wow.
Prof.
So apparently,
I understand
after
why
all
he
this
did
shit's
that.
happened, Prof went back and looked, and he was like, I've got the video of this guy opening this shit. So it's circulating now.
Yeah.
And so now we're actually, we get to like, we get to vicariously like enjoy the story, the details of this grand story.
Yeah.
The
It's
coolest
pretty
thing to ever
sweet.
happen to Magic. But I love the fact that there was that video when Post Malone announced that he was buying it. There was a video of the person who opened it, and the smile on his face.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see the smile on the person's face that opened this card.
I'd like to add a little anecdote to this story. And another little, I'm probably not going to see it, but if you do, Post Malone, I would love to just kind of like throw an idea at you. You've paid the money. You've made somebody's dream come true. You've given a man $2 million. You own this card. Now do the right thing and cast it back into the fires of Mount Doom. Bring it to Wizards HQ and burn it on their doorstep, because this is a power that no man should have, and we need to destroy evil. You know how to destroy evil for all time.
What to do.
In the words
Please.
of the Dark Lord, do it.
Do it. That's hilarious.
Samwise expects better of you.
You've been called out.
Oh, Frodo. Oh, Frodo.
Is this podcast episode a message to Post Malone?
Basically, we'll name that a
open
message.
letter.
That'll be the working title for this episode: a message to Post Malone.
A message to Post Malone. Please vandalize expensive property.
Yeah,
That
caused
that's a little too open-ended.
I mean, that also caused a literal like governmental like tiff of the world's governments now are wondering. They've brought up and are starting to discuss of whether Magic the Gathering is allowed to do this, because this was an unsanctioned, unregulated lottery for like the highest amount of money for something lottery based,
right? And
internationally,
because it was opened in Canada.
Yeah.
Like there's a lawyer channel on YouTube. I think it's Runkle of the Bailey or whatever. He was talking about this whole ordeal, and he was like, if you really think about it, in the archetype of a booster pack, it is an unregulated lottery. It is not. It is a lottery that you are participating in that is not sanctioned or regulated by the Canadian government, but it's small beans. It's $5, and maybe like $100. Like Magic has been selling very expensive collector boosters lately, but $100, that's whatever. That's small peanuts. But the Canadian government was like, "You telling me that at a booster pack where one of the cards is $2 million, and now apparently there's some conversations, and like I'm sure over the next 5 years,
There's going to be repercussions.
we will know the repercussions of.
Hey,
Why
you
did it
don't
have
know
to-
until you try.
I love the fact that it was opened in Canada because we are humble Canadians.
We are humble.
And actually, I think it was today on Facebook, I saw at the Toronto store that sold the pack, Wizards sent them a plaque to put on the wall that
That's
said
pretty
that
sweet.
the ring was found here.
Props to
That's
that.
cool. That's really cool.
And it was sold through face-to-face games, so shout out to face-to-face games. It was sold through one of their distributors.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Or I think it was just one of their stores, like one of their stores in Toronto.
Quick.
But never happened. How, yeah. Just swapping style. Yeah, so Lord of the Rings,
Change the game.
cheers Wizards of the Coast and like the Tolkien
Boys.
estate for making that happen, because honestly it was kind of perfect.
Yeah.
It was very perfect. And like to get back to talking about Final Fantasy, my wife
My wife.
has already had about 4 birds. Just like we were in the hot tub the other day talking about like the fact that this is getting the full Lord of the Rings treatment, and we were sitting there, we were like, shit. This
know
is
that
going to
it's a-
cost us a lot of money.
And Callie's gonna be like, okay, now I want to play.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
I want to be on the channel.
You could, like, this is going to be insane because with the Lord of the Rings set, they did 3 or what? Was it for like the main characters? They did multiple versions of legendaries for each one.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to do that with Final Fantasy because there's so many.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they want to
Characters.
showcase all of the characters. Like you're taking,
my,
like
you
we
know
might
what?
see it. Well, I think we're probably gonna see it for
Holy-
things like Sephiroth and Cloud, almost
yeah.
guaranteed,
You know what?
just because they
I'm-
are like the show ponies for Final
I'm starting
Fantasy.
to freak out a bit here. So now, when you really want to think about this, okay, so Lord of the Rings, its timing, super important for sure, 100%. But let's not exclude the momentum that the last generation has had, given the influence that Final Fantasy is an entire series
Yeah.
has had for us millennials, no
Yeah.
less, and all these new burgeoning generations coming forward. This might actually be as momentous, as important,
Yeah,
actually as Lord of the Rings for many people, especially RPG fans.
Yeah, I feel like it's a slightly different subset, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Lord of the
Different
Rings,
demographic.
Lord of the Rings, the niche community of that is book nerds.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy,
Classic history, classic fantasy.
yeah, Final Fantasy
appreciate, yeah.
is
It's millennials.
RPG nerds,
Yeah.
like
It's-
JRPG nerds.
It's Lord of the Rings in a psychedelic bender, if anything.
It is going to be amazing, dude. Like I get to build like a Red 13 deck, or like
Oh,
like
frick! The amount of different
Lulu.
versions that you could reprint
Yeah.
of Ifrit, you could have like with the like. Lord of the Rings,
I cannot wait to
let's-
see how they
Let's
do
have
the-
like how many different. Like, go back to the original summons. Like, how many? Let's say they'll have exactly 3 versions of the original. So like Shiva, Ifrit,
yo,
Bahamut.
I just noticed early Magic,
Yeah.
like creatures used to say summon elf.
Yeah,
I wonder if they're gonna like go back to like an old school border, like summon Ifrit.
my
that would be cool.
God.
Summon it.
Can I? If anybody
Putting it out there at least. Come on, Wizards.
If anybody at Wizards or Hasbro is paying attention, can I just ask one thing? Can we please get a Moogle legendary creature? I want Moogle. I want a
Kate
Moogle.
Sith, Kate Sith,
I want
baby.
I want
Kate
a.
Sith, Kate Sith.
I know, but still, I want a Moogle as my commander, please.
Yeah.
Please.
So like
was
the Buster Sword is likely going to be a
Oh, it will be guaranteed.
It's probably
Same
going to
with
be.
Sephiroth.
I think it's going to be something
Massimo
similar to like a Staff of Dom. It's going to be like, here's pay different amounts for different
I thought it
effects.
was- I thought it would be like
Spirit
a-
Killard. Something like that. You
Yeah.
know, like it'll have that kind of like,
I thought it would be more like a sword of feast and famine type thing, like a
or even that.
Well, no,
honestly,
it might be,
sky's the
but
limit.
to take
it's a sword. It wouldn't be like a Staff of Donovan's because Staff of Donovan's is
It's
not an
Final
equipment.
Fantasy. They might
no,
decide to take this any
it's
direction.
the Buster Sword. The whole idea is that it breaks up into other swords.
It's a blade of feast and famine with
Does it?
commander's
Yeah,
plate
that's
and
the-
maybe Inquisitor's
My
flail.
God, yes, it does. It turns into multiple swords. The Buster Sword it's made up of like I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it breaks into like 8 different blades or something.
Okay, wait. I know that my wife is more of a fan, but I don't know if I've ever seen the Buster Sword do that. Although I guess you guys carry the weight. I should probably go get the prop.
Wait.
I'm gonna go get the prop.
Yeah, we have the prop. 1 second while our boy returns.
We got all the tiny things. Oh. Magnetized. To go.
guys can keep talking.
Oh yeah. No, we're just feast your eyes on this, Glorious. Tanner's lovely wife, Callie, created this for her Cloud cosplay, and like, it's pretty fucking amazing. Because yes, Tanner, if you've ever watched the animated movie, if you ever watched the Square Enix animated movie Advent Children featuring Cloud,
you mean featuring
of course
Sephiroth and his clones?
then you know that yes, the Buster Sword turns into multiple blades. It opens up into other swords.
It's super multilateral.
Okay, I know that this is. I wish I was more
Here's the thing.
knowledgeable.
Okay, no, here I want to round a bit. Advent Children, my darling, is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it doesn't do that in the games at all.
Yeah, no, it is not strict source material from the video games itself, which are the bloodline of, as we know, Final Fantasy. I love how excited we just got compared to, okay, let's start talking about Lord of the Rings. Okay, oh no, Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy is going to be, like, just buck wild. And, like, dude, okay.
What do you think they're going to focus on?
I'll tell you this.
I want them to go back as far as Final Fantasy V with Cecil.
No. They said in the release that they will represent from 1 to 16.
Oh, cool.
My
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Everything that's released today that we know in the world of Final Fantasy.
1 to 16. Are we getting Final Fantasy Tactic cards?
Final Fantasy 9 nerds. Are you kidding me?
Are we getting?
We're gonna get Kuja. Okay. I have full body goosebumps right now.
I'm gonna make a I was talking to Callie about this the other day. I think I have an idea for what I would like in regards to a showcase frame for the card. I'm talking original Final Fantasy VII, like the battle menus, like the 8-bit.
Oh,
the blue backgrounds.
Battles are gonna come from this.
The blue back. Oh yeah, there should be battles. No, let me finish. The blue background with like the white border and like the 8-bit text, like the battle menus. I hope that's what the showcase frame looks like.
I'm gonna before we've probably already got comments.
Calm down.
We've already got comments calling me out. I apologize. I got a little confused there. The Buster Sword is different from the Fusion Sword, and the Fusion Sword was the one that breaks into a 6-piece sword. So
okay. Is that the one from Advent Children?
It might be showcased in there. I just know that I believe it is used in that film.
You are gonna get torn.
I'm gonna get torn apart.
It's like the Grinch. Your asshole just.
I apologize. To be fair though, they are both badass pieces of slice people in half hardware. So.
I'm excited for Sephiroth's sword, but honestly, now that I have this understanding, I can't stop thinking, like, on camera here. I'm just geeking about the possibilities, especially for you Final Fantasy Dissidia fans who are largely disconnected from Final Fantasy as a whole. Especially like, even for us millennials, there's plenty of players who have 10 years on us. So guarantee this is pretty cool stuff. This means a lot. We're gonna get our Cecil, we're gonna get our Cloud,
Vincent.
We're gonna get our Titus.
Oh yeah,
man,
Titus.
the amount of millennial. Okay, you 2000ers. Are you kidding me? Am I going to have a Seymour deck as much as I hate Seymour?
Did you know that the voice actor
Seymour.
for Waka is the same guy that does Jake the dog?
Yeah, and Bender.
God.
Yeah, no, and
Frickin' way.
Yeah, no, and Bender from Futurama, and like a million other people, and
I hear it now in my heart.
Oh yeah. He's. I think he is
so
the
glad
most.
I just did that to you right now.
Fuck.
Now this. Don't take credit on me. This is random pulling out of my ass. I'm pretty sure he is the most prolific, like having had the most roles, or at least paid for the most roles. Voice actor
Jason Kenny, or is it Jason Kenny? SpongeBob. I think he's got that.
Tom Kenny.
Legend. Tom Kenny.
The voice of SpongeBob specifically, bro.
SpongeBob and was it Ren from Ren and Snippy?
Oh, I'm not sure on that one.
What?
It might be. I don't know. I have no clue on that boy.
Now. Don't be dropping that kind of knowledge bomb on me.
I can't remember.
Tom Kenny's done a lot.
One.
Recently, actually, one of my favorite was from Final Space, where he plays the Sal character from 2001: A Space Odyssey homage. He plays the robotic voice. Here, Gary, take a cookie. That. Oh man, Tom Kenny. SpongeBob.
Tom Kenny.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up, and then we're gonna get into all the other releases that they got into, because like it's insane the stuff that they're doing, the
Yeah.
crossovers.
I mean, I'll drop the small
I'm
anecdote
a little
while
bit
he's.
freaked out, but you know what? I think that's when they announced that the planeswalkers and legendary creatures aren't going to be as prevalent.
Yeah.
That makes sense. This whole new direction that Magic has probably been slowly, eventually going to gear towards.
Which I mean is great, because the last few years, let's say the last 5 years, we have seen so many planeswalkers. We've seen so many new legendary
War of the
creatures.
Spark really did.
For them to take a step back from that and be like, okay, listen, we've flooded the market with a potential like commanders for commander decks, which is like the show pony for MTG these days. To see them being like vocally taking a back burner to that, be like, listen, we've given you all your weapon power. Now we're giving you stuff to let those decks run. Like that's awesome. Especially like, yeah, it was probably time to come. We don't need more mono black Sorens that just minus immediately put somebody at 10 life. We don't need the.
Yeah, we'd have a few more.
Well, wait a second, my Doctor Who brother. I need
Doctor
some.
Who?
I need some more. Me and him have cried together on the couch watching that shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes,
Doctor Who.
You can cry to Doctor Who. I dare anybody to say I can't.
In the era that I'm a millennial and I haven't seen like the 2-ish seasons that have just basically been lost to air, I've seen every piece of Doctor Who media that's ever been produced within my time frame of existence. I love it. I love it so much. It is perfection. It is the weirdest, well-made, high-production, campy, low-value nonsense that's ever been produced, and it's just good.
The best.
Peter Capaldi, you're my bae. Peter Capaldi, you're my bae. Don't get me wrong. Do you have a tenant?
Dave, don't you
I love you.
start
I
with
love
my tenant.
Matt Smith?
Don't
all
you
right.
be
Eccleston?
crouching.
You were the real one. Peter Capaldi.
Tanner, you contribute now to your
you
vast
the real
knowledge of
shit.
Doctor Who. Please,
My
right now.
vast knowledge of Doctor. Oh, have you guys ever played the game? It's called Cultural Osmosis.
I haven't, no.
Okay. Basically, you try, like, let's say, for instance, I'm sitting here in the position where I don't know much about Doctor Who, but because throughout my life I've heard people in my sphere of influence talk about Doctor Who, or I saw it on TV once, or like the minute cultural osmosis, what you draw from your environment without trying.
Oh, yeah.
And like, how much do you know? Like Callie and I do this regularly. We're like, how much do you know about Sailor Moon through cultural osmosis? And then you just try and rattle off the things that you know from random knowledge.
Also bring this into your life, because this is how you
it's such
get
a
into
fun game
cool
to play.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. So talk Doctor Who.
Yeah.
In regards to what I know about Doctor Who, I know that the show consists of basically a doctor who, like James Bond, his role is, I guess, taken over by other people. But in the canon, that becomes a different doctor. Like is it a separate entity?
It's always the
playing
same doctor. It's
role?
the same soul.
Oh, is it the same?
It's the same
Is
soul.
it different people playing?
It's always the
characters?
same doctor, just different.
He is of an alien race known as, in the
Time
show, the
Lords.
Time Lords.
The Time
They are
Lords.
basically the first alien race that basically figured out how to master time travel and like the secrets there within.
Wow, they do not communicate that with the acting.
They don't. They don't.
They leave so much. You have to be following for
They
most part.
kind of do, but they kind of don't, because the whole idea is that when any of the Time Lords, they have this ability called regeneration, that when they're at the...
See, now you're just telling me everything. I feel like
If you don't know Doctor Who, you may as well be taking acid going into it.
I'll say this: they live for basically like thousands upon thousands of years, depending on like what ends up blue. When they're going to die, if they have the ability to regenerate into a new form of themselves, which
Sounds
does
like Q from Star Trek.
which does canonically, they change into they have like their core personality stays the same, but then there's differences. They do become new people, and they acknowledge that they're new people, but there's like it's like if you were to be put into like just snap, you're in a woman's body now. You can't expect that you're still gonna just be Tan or Cherry the whole time.
Brandon?
You're gonna turn into somebody new.
Brandon, I figured it out. We have to dumb down our talk into terms of Star Trek.
Yes, we have to reference everything.
We have to dumb down to Star Trek. So
It's like it's
the TARDIS with its arms wide.
the TARDIS. Perfect. No, perfect.
Trek.
You know original Star Trek where original Star Trek, the Enterprise gets taken over by like a universal baby spirit. You know that episode?
Oh, I do.
That's basically the TARDIS. The TARDIS is a living thing as well as a ship.
And the doctor is always just Janeway, but on a different drug every day.
Yeah. Actually, yes.
Yeah. Shout out to freaking god.
They would not like that description as the doctor, but it's very true. It's very true.
Interesting.
Honestly, anybody who doesn't know Doctor Who, if you're just jumping in on it with no context, you may as well just be doing a random hit of acid. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to follow along.
So I just heard shout out to Loading Ready Run, Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. One of the greatest magic content creative cruise collectives. They do the pre-releases.
They're fantastic.
They do everything. They do so
They're
much.
amazing.
I love it. Tap Concede podcast. Just massive tip of the glass to you guys. Anyway, I heard recently on their show where they were basically if you want to catch up with Doctor Who because of this set, right? Like a bunch of Magic players that don't understand, I don't get it. Showing these previews of these cards and I don't get it. There is apparently 5 episodes that people recommend you start with, among the first 3 seasons, where it's just don't touch anything else. Just watch these 4 or 5 episodes, and
Tennant?
it's a great way to start. And I remember I felt okay, it's maybe I will, because I've had enough friends be you should really invest some time into watching this. But dude, there's so much of it.
There's so much of it, and
Here.
unless you love bad,
Tanner?
it's so bad it's good content, B-rate culture.
Let me ask-
Doctor Who is.
Let me ask you one question, Tanner. Do you like the OG Star Trek?
Captain Kirk original series.
Captain Kirk.
Do I
Surreal,
like it?
surreal
Is it something that you
to
can
the
sit?
point of
Is it
obscurity.
something that you can sit down and actually watch?
Yeah, I have, and I
have.
When Callie got into it, I
Yeah.
got her into all of Star Trek, and then we watched every season of every Star Trek, except
Yeah,
for
you
all of the
did.
new ones. We actually haven't caught up on all the new ones.
You know what?
But the original season
Yeah.
is
Content to follow.
unhinged.
Yeah.
Holy, it is. Some of it is so good, and some of it is so stupidly
Oh
bad.
yeah. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I have the DVDs from Eccleston up to Capaldi, which is 7-ish seasons. Eccleston starts off phenomenal, but as campy and cheesy as the original Star Trek. Then we get into David Tennant, and he's kind of half branched, that kind of campy, and then into people are the Western world and the new millennial age is actually following this. We have fucking funding to do cool stuff. Then we get into Matt
BBC.
Smith, which Matt Smith is just the
Cool stuff.
Matt Smith is basically just the slightly more handsome version of this boy right here.
You know what?
Oh my god.
And then Peter
He just compared me
to Matt Smith. Yeah. Oh
to
yeah.
the Doctor.
Oh yeah. I honestly think anybody who's seen Matt Smith knows what I'm talking about.
He's strangely sexy.
He is strangely sexy. And then Peter Capaldi, and this has been my favorite way of describing it. If any of you,
Chameleonically
if
sexy.
any of you have ever watched the show House, it's about a doctor, like a House MD.
Really? You're bringing up House?
Yeah. Peter Capaldi's doctor is basically the doctor, if you love and know, through all the other doctors, mixed with House MD.
He's sour and it's
this
fantastic.
This is Matt Smith, the guy.
Matt Smith is a legend,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
a legend.
Oh yeah, no, he's been in a lot
Shout
of
out to
stuff.
his
He's
role
been
recently.
he's been in some of the new Terminator. He was in Game of Thrones. He's been in the
recent
new
Game of
Terminator.
Thrones.
Yeah, House of the
Holy
Dragon.
fuck.
I loved his
He
character
plays
so
a
much.
Targaryen. He plays
Yeah.
a Targaryen.
Oh yeah,
He
no,
was the
Matt
best
Smith.
one.
Matt Smith is phenomenal, and David Smith. David Smith, I think.
Compared me.
Yeah, I think David Smith was one of the defining characters of modern Doctor Who. But sorry, I'm fucking that up. David Tennant. Sorry.
I was like, wait, what?
David Tennant is one of the defining characters of modern Doctor Who, but David Tennant is probably one of the best actors on Earth. Between Good Omens, Doctor Who, there was
with Michael Sheen.
yeah. There's
Omens.
David Tennant is probably one of the best actors. He fills every role perfectly, and he does it in his own style. It's
Him in a freaking crime drama.
yeah. He's great.
Remind me to bring up Doctor Who with you guys more, because it seems like there's lots to talk
Hey,
about.
bro. Waylon Yutani over here asking about the TARDIS.
Oh, dude, that is such a good nickname.
Wayland Yutani.
Yo, Waylon!
You're Wayland.
Yo.
Yeah, this is
actually love it.
probably the first time that everybody's actually seeing through the content that we've produced. Oh, we are the biggest just multimedia
Well, yeah,
fantasy
let's not get ahead of
nerds.
ourselves. There's billions of people in the world, but
who know more than we do. I fucked up with the Buster Sword compared for the fucking yeah. There's people who know more than us, but like we are the direct avenue to all things nerdy.
Let us be your avenue. Let us be your voice. We want to cover all this, all of it. You know.
I do like to nerd sometimes.
Sometimes
I like to nerd. Now, speaking of nerds, now I would love to go into the other stuff that Magic is doing, the crossovers.
Oh yeah.
Fucking 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was like, man, that's kind of weird that they're gonna like pair up with Transformers and Walking Dead,
off.
And people were like,
do you remember that? I was a keyboard warrior.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So they just announced, goddamn, so many different crossovers. And okay, number one, Brandon might be. I think that you might like this one. Fallout.
I mean,
I'm stoked.
Yes and no, because my stance on it right here, right now, is high fantasy. The Warhammer kind of made sense to me. It's the futuristic version of the thing.
Actually, Fallout does seem too.
It's too real world.
Too America.
Yeah. No. It's why
Transformers was too America.
No, and I agree. Transformers was too America. Or no, not even that. Transformers was weirdly too real world. So was Doctor Who.
Okay, so let me drop this one on you.
Yeah.
Let me drop this one on you. God, what's the name of it?
Well, he looks that up. Godzilla as the first, because it was the first before they did Universes Beyond, but it was the first like inkling to like, oh, this works. Godzilla worked amazing. Excellent. Was it excellent? Ikoria. It worked perfect. Huge fucking monsters with amazing abilities. Godzilla worked perfect for fucking Magic. Lord of the Rings works perfect. Warhammer is a little off branch, but it worked so well.
Okay, so this one's gonna piss you off then.
Okay.
Show me.
We'll see.
So it's gonna be the start of the new villain arc.
Oh, is it Barbenheimer?
Barbenheimer. Oh my God, I would kill if that was in Magic. But no, this is sort of.
Stop teasing me.
The Magic the Gathering Deckmaster product set name is Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Coming in 2024, your Wild West themed Magic
game?
set. No. You want to see Oko in a cowboy hat?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a board game, wasn't it?
Oh, he is hot.
Outlaws of Thunder.
Outlaws of Thunder Junction. We're talking 6-shooter cowboy.
Oh my God.
Ironically, I think I like
just
that.
Got a stank face on?
No, I got the stank face on. Ironically, I think I like that better than the other thing. That's just kind of like that's just steering into New Capenna vibes, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. I think it's unaddressed terrain for
everything.
For the nuance.
Yeah.
Again,
so weird because it is so old America.
Yeah.
But Brady, there's a picture here that he's holding on the tablet. I want you, Brady, to try and name all of the different people that are in the silhouettes at the bottom of this image, which you'll see on the screen right now.
One of them is clearly Rakdos.
Yes, you got Rakdos.
100% Vraska.
Yes, Vraska. On the left.
Oh God, I want to assume Tybalt's got to be one of them.
No.
The very far left. Ooh.
That's got to be like Rankle, right?
No.
You said Tiny.
Tiny Bones.
Yeah.
Wild West Tiny Bones? And you thought I'd be mad at that?
Dude.
Oh! My boy!
And then there's some other ones.
From Urborg.
I believe it's Oko that is the full frame in the middle.
Oh, that's so cool.
God, the sex appeal.
See, you guys are so excited about it. I thought you guys were going to be like, oh,
no,
Wild West.
Wild West is like
I love
actual high fan. Like it's the weird American high fantasy, right?
Well, yes, but here's the thing: there's nothing more romantic than the sheer ridiculous survivalism that comes from putting yourself through the shit.
Yeah.
And when you have it encompassed in a style of dusty tannins and leathers and browns and dust and guns and fuck, I don't know. I'm excited.
I did not expect you guys to be so excited. This is awesome. I'm actually like I'm.
We got the sexy. I'm also really into Oko.
Oh, dude, Oko's a
Oko's.
I wouldn't even think about going on a date with Oko.
PG-13.
Like, just take me now.
PG-13, Brady.
Hey, email. take my clothes.
Hey, email on the phone. I love it. Okay, so the next up, which I
exciting. Oh
think
my
is
God.
going to be super fun.
It's the Wild
they are
Level
doing-
Drains?
No, that Wild of Eldraines is actually just the next standard release that's happening very soon.
Yeah. Okay.
So in the prospect of future Magic, they're doing an Assassin's Creed
oh,
crossover
yeah.
as
See,
well.
That's one of the ones that I fucking hate.
See,
Yeah.
that one I agree with as
Interesting.
well. The reason why is because they really fucked me hard on Baldur's Gate and or the other Forgotten Realms. They did not create a version of Artemis Entreri. We're talking about one of the most quintessential rogue assassins in all of Faerun's history, and you didn't make him a card. You printed Drizzt, but you did not make his absolute number one.
Dare?
How dare you? No, actually,
you.
fuck you, Wizards. Actually, no, you fucked up hard. You fucked up hard.
First
The
Crested
first
Sunmare, and now this.
actual guaranteed rival
You've
that
got
there is.
enemies.
We're talking about Ari Salvatore's baby in the entirety of like almost 30 years. How dare you exclude Artemis? How dare you?
All right.
Well, apparently, we need to sign a petition.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Free Artemis.
Okay.
Free Artemis.
Okay.
So why is it that you don't like the Assassin's Creed?
It feels too close to real world.
What?
A little too
Assassin's
close.
Creed has gotten so weird.
Well, I mean, yes,
Isn't
but
it
it
like-
hasn't.
No,
It doesn't have
no.
the same success as Final Fantasy.
No.
For me, it
no.
does not. It does not.
No. Assassin's Creed has always been real world history painted through the eyes of somebody's ancestor.
Yeah, but from what I've heard,
Always
it's
a
gotten a little
combinationist.
weird in regards to the
There's-
motivation to go back
Well,
and like.
yeah, but there's the aliens like
I
that
don't know,
that
it
help
got really
steer
weird here.
humanity
I
and
think it's
stuff.
I think it's fanfaring to a game that hasn't had the most successful history. Now it's not the same thing as like, oh, every Final Fantasy. Let's use Final Fantasy as an example. We have way more years for Final Fantasy to work with, but when it comes to Assassin's Creed, we have the first several games horribly, ridiculously successful,
and a bad
and
movie.
then
And
a bad movie. I mean, Spawn did the same thing, but either way.
No.
It flounders.
Spawn was amazing. That film was a masterpiece.
I only watched it for Carnage. We're talking like fucking millennials
Carnage?
again.
Violator?
Yeah,
Wait.
we're talking about Marvel, right?
Well, Spawn is
I caught that mistake. I fucked up. No, we're talking. Yeah, anyways. But
Violator
no.
was amazing.
Either way, no. I think when it comes to something like that, Assassin's Creed, it did flounder in the end, notoriously so. We're talking about it. It's
no.
encompassing an era of EA. Was
Yeah,
it
EA.
EA just completely going down a need for money, and then the quality going down, and now you want to use that history as well.
Respectfully, I will disagree with you. The brief nuance of that is EA, and it's less so EA, but it is EA. What's the actual company? They have a nice little spiral for their thing. Y'all are gonna hate us for this episode. I'm sorry.
Is this a mistrigger?
This is a mistrigger. Regardless, Assassin's Creed has always been very focused on like history, and in the last however many games, Ragnarok, Origins, they went through and they actually did something really cool where they built into the game what was basically like a virtual walkthrough of these countries and the history. You can take a look at what was like the understood history of ancient Egypt through Assassin's Creed Origins, where it's not gameplay, it's legitimately like a virtual walkthrough where they're telling you about the pyramids, they're telling you about the pharaohs, they're telling you about the history of this country. And that's what like I love.
did really appreciate
I've
that,
played
yeah.
and I own all of the Assassin's Creed games. I love it.
Number two for you guys out there.
It is one of my favorite series of all time. But when it comes to like melding that with Magic, the only problem I have is like high fantasy or high fantasy stakes make sense for the world of Magic. When they're hitting these universes beyond things where just like Assassin's Creed isn't high fantasy. It's a made up story with kind of fantasy elements, but it's real world. It is human beings dealing with human problems, and there's the magic that's in there is only kind of shoehorned in there for the sanctity of making it more of a grandiose story than it is actually anything else. Where it's like you hit the us going to like Wild Western sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, it's still very real world, but the Wild West has basically been boiled down, at least at this point, into this weird nuance of it is high fantasy because you look at some of the stuff that people have like brought up over the years, and it's the most wild, crazy stories that could have come out of a time when young America was basically nobody knew what was going on. It was a lawless wasteland where anything was possible. It just hits that tone. But you get into the Assassin's Creed and it's like where is the high fantasy there?
Yeah, I feel. Well, I mean, I think it's almost parallel to my own example. Like we have a series created that is an amazing concept, but it doesn't have the same kind of nuance. It's lacking a lot of the momentum, as much as the first, I want to say 3, 4 were incredibly amazing. It was the first 3, I think, that really made the difference. Number 2, I think, was insane.
Number 2, I think is generally regarded as one of
Italy,
the
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like Renaissance Italy.
Yeah, Ezio. And then I'd say, from my understanding, is it's 2 and 4 that stand among the rest for people's love, because 2 was Italy, and then 4 was pirates. 3. I loved 3. 3 is actually one of my favorites, but it fell short with a lot of people because they were just kind of like relearning how to. Black Flag is number 4.
Pow, pow, pow.
Number 3 was it was Native American. It was the Native American history of like the subset Lower Canada before it was Canada, and sort of like what was effectively the revolution that happened in the days where early America were screwing over and bastardizing the Native American cultures. It's probably one of, honestly, the best ones, but it's so dry in its topical because nobody, unfortunately, so few people care about the history of North America and what happened to our Native American brethren. And I feel like a lot of people pass that game off as being boring when I think it's probably one of the...
I mean, that talk deserves its entire own discussion.
I think it's one of the most nuanced, best stories that they've ever told in their universe. But people forget it because people love the idea of like, oh, romanticized Italy. Oh, awesome pirates. Oh, we're going to go see like Jack the Butcher in like ancient or like hundreds of years ago London and stuff. And it's just like, there's better stories out there in the real world.
Yeah, you're abusing history at that point.
Yeah.
What else do we have in the right?
Talking about better stories, I feel like 8-year-old me would have dreamed of this. Yeah. But I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
Not even kidding.
Jurassic
Park.
This one
is that what's coming up soon?
This one.
The Lost Caverns of Ixalan will be a Jurassic Park crossover as well.
To be fair, no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this.
Now I'm mad.
I'm gonna say this. Just because of the Godzilla crossover, I'm not mad.
Oh yeah, the Godzilla crossover is actually fun.
Yeah, I'm not mad.
Godzilla made sense. It's batshit crazy. No, now we fucking with Michael Crichton. No.
Have you read the Michael Crichton original?
Yes, I have. I read all.
Yeah,
the novel.
That was one of the first books I ever read.
It's terrifying. He was the first author to be like, "Hey, I'm using some science here that might be discredited in several years," and it literally proved true. Yeah. His writing was reestablished and was taken very credibly. But everyone realized, no, obviously now that we understand. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, your point.
The real worldness of it, I agree. It annoys me when it comes to just the fact that it's like, hey, we're legitimately looking into like genetically modified drift dinosaurs.
Fuck anyone who makes a ham and death.
Painted.
Screw you.
Painted over Ixalan. Yeah, painted over Ixalan and their dinosaurs. That's one I can't be mad with.
Yo, that actually, I just realized the implications of taking an island near Hawaii and sharing that somehow with Ixalan.
Yeah.
The plain of Ixalan.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Oh yeah, I share my frustration. I think that it's incredibly annoying, but I also was a dinosaur kid growing up.
Hawaii,
is it Hawaii? Wasn't it near
Aztec.
Hawaii?
No. It was
the Isla Nublar was.
It was 5 islands. It was islands known as the 5 Deaths.
Isla something.
Nublar.
Isla Sornar. No, Isla Nublar as the main island. Isla Sornar as the secondary island, and then I should know this better because I've played the Jurassic Park. I own everything Jurassic Park's ever put out.
I was born and raised on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
Made for video game.
Yeah. Nublar is the main island. Sornar is the second island, and then there's like 5. There's a couple others, but it's known. The islands are known as the 5 Deaths, or the 5 Deaths.
Jurassic Park.
Anyway, the
That's too easy.
The details of the islands is not important.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
The things that Magic is doing Okay, so with the Jurassic Park crossover, I'll wait and see what they have up their sleeve. If it's small, I got the MTG. It says here that they're going to go back to Ravnica.
Yeah, of course they should.
Yeah, we
And
know.
makes sense. That's logical progression.
It's called Murders at Karlov Manor.
Murder mystery style.
It is
Oh,
a
hell
crossover with another Hasbro product,
Oh, I'm so stoked.
Clue.
Clue.
Oh, I'm
okay with that.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
This is a win. I think this is
Yeah.
going to be fun.
Yeah.
This is going to be super cool.
It allows them to put out a Magic the Gathering themed actual. They get to remake Clue, Magic the Gathering themed for all of us nerds. It really pushes like the board game nonsense that we all love to do. That's Hasbro. That's a win. Don't overplay this. That's actually a win.
It's in the family.
Yeah.
You already own Clue. So here's the thing now.
Yeah.
Is this going to be Clue? What was the other thought? Oh my god.
I am just blown away by how slow this friggin' iPad is.
There's so much potential. You can take that.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring back conspiracy? Is this going to be like? Is there going to be
I
like?
hope so.
That would make sense.
Ooh,
I have one of
Conspiracy for this?
I have one of my old conspiracy
Conspiracy?
cards that I've been sitting on for like basically a decade now. That I'm sitting here. It's like I can't ever play this card because it's banned in Commander.
Yeah.
Brando, I'm going to show you this
Oh no! Why are you trying to make me angry?
because this
This whole
is
episode has been about us being teased apparently by this gentleman here. So.
this is another set that they're releasing.
MTG. Oh, you know what? We finally have a conclusion to the debate. The amount of arguments that me and Brandon have had about the Eldrazi.
Modern Horizons 3 is going to come out, and it looks like they're heavily focusing on. I mean, Modern Horizons is a direct to modern
Where's this from?
reprint.
This is from,
No, not reprint set. There's new cards in
Yeah.
Modern Horizons.
So this
But
is from
some
Wargamer
reprints,
3
some
days
new
ago.
cards, yeah.
Wizards of the Coast has confirmed that Modern Horizons 3 is one of the Magic the Gathering sets planned for 2024. Apparently, it will feature fan favorite characters, including some double-face cards and planeswalkers designed for Modern, and expected to be stuffed with all powerful cards.
but they also released an image with Emrakul, Kozilek, and Ulamog. Also, half
like a tea time.
krakening. There's like a ship in the ocean there. Like the image will be on screen here if you're watching. If you're listening on audio only, please come and check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
They're literally
Yeah,
just having a
absolutely.
tea party.
Yeah, it's basically just like Kraken party in the ocean with the Eldrazi.
This is the Eldrazi right now.
I mean, to be fair, that
Tentacles.
art right
Wacky
there,
inflatable arms
that
for
art
2-man.
right there just looks like the high realism, like that Magic is known for on their card art. That just looks like the high realism version of the new card that they're printing that we talked about before, Rise of the Eldrazi. It's the same art. It looks
like the same art,
minus
just
the
mixed
uterus.
in.
Yeah, we're like Rise of the Eldrazi. The card art is like it's super like painted and it's so gorgeous. But that basically just looks like the high realism art of that same card. So we'll see.
High importance.
Yeah,
Who's taking the glasses next?
I think we end with you.
I think we end with you, Tanner.
I think we end with
I
you
think
taking the
we
glass.
end-
I'm passing them off. Also, I'm going to open the door because it's getting spicy.
Well, I was about
hot
to
in
say
here.
we're at over an hour now.
Yeah, but there's more sets to talk about. I just need to.
we have more sets to talk about.
Oh, so this is gonna be
do
a
we
long
want to
one.
speed run it? We've
All
been
right.
like deep diving on every single one of them.
Yeah.
But like, I guess. Okay, so one of the other really cool sets coming out that they announced, which I think the defining factor of this, which is weird and interesting, is that I think it's one of the first sets in Magic's history with no humans.
Oh, weird.
Human
Larwin?
as a creature type, or wait,
think-
was there a set that had no
I think
humans?
Larwin was strictly everything fantastical except for humans.
Okay, well they're doing
I
something
think.
sort of like that again. It's called Bloomborough. You can see here. It is it's all animals,
Oh, that's
humanoid animals.
They're giving us furry bait. They're
giving us furry bait.
as the cat hops up on the
Ah,
table.
yes.
How
Hello,
how
Jack.
apt.
Redwall fans, please.
Oh yeah, no, I saw the art for that. I'm super excited.
yes.
A red
Oh,
wall,
my God.
a functional red wall set. I read those books religiously as a kid.
This,
getting
you know what it
fucking
reminds me?
emotional on
It reminds me
camera right
this image, and I'll put this image on screen as you're watching. It reminds me of The Secret of Nim.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
emotional right now.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be super cool. Hello.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
For anybody who hasn't been
Oh.
introduced already, this is Jack, Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yes, Kitty.
He's a beautiful boy.
And then, okay, we did talk
Oh.
about this before we started recording, but they're also doing a set called Duskmorn, House of Horror, which is going to be like modern horror, such as Scream.
I'm holding
Or-
back tears from Redwall. Now you're playing on that.
Well, why do you keep saying Redwall? What is Redwall?
Redwall is one of the most influential series ever created for
Youth.
for readers.
Yeah, like youth and youth readers.
Brian Jacques created a series a long time ago in the early 2000s that was all set around Redwall Abbey, which is about these rodents. Everything, essentially, every goodly rodent would be like a mouse, a mole.
Yeah.
God, every tiny possible non-predaceous creature possible was goodly.
Yeah.
And then everything that was evil was like
Snakes and rats.
snakes, pine martens,
the
weasels,
the predators of the small animal
foxes.
kingdom.
Yeah, no, and just horribly,
Honey badges.
Honey
like-
badgers.
like
They don't give a fuck.
For me specifically,
Actually, no. I think there was a honey badger on the good side. I'm pretty sure he
badgers.
was.
Badgers held a reign. They're basically like.
Was this a book
royalty.
series?
Yeah.
There's a whole
And
entire
a,
book
and a
series.
TV show, and the
And a
TV
TV
show
show
was so good.
Yeah, so the reason why I even named when I got the snake, a little bit of a side story. When I got Ducati from you,
Yes.
I immediately renamed him Asmodeus. And Asmodeus is the lead
Interesting.
villain of Redwall, Redwall's Redwall, which has Clooney the Scourge. Oh man, the freaking
Right.
history we can go with
so,
Redwall.
so good. Me and Braid are gonna have a time when that
No,
set
this
releases.
is and there's and not even like Brian Jacques then created this meta throughout all of history for furry people, no less. Don't even get me wrong. Unfortunately, he probably wouldn't like that information,
No.
but it's true.
It's true.
We're talking about an entire meta, an entire culture of just humanoid animals given purpose and reason, and
Yep.
it's just amazing.
Cool.
Well,
So this set's going to be a banger.
I think so. I think this is going to sell like crazy.
Some of
yeah.
the art that they showed is very like
Oh,
the
my
color
goodness.
palette is very
Yeah.
very rich. It
Yeah.
it looks very like children's book.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
Well, it's like one of the things
holy
why
shit.
why we popped off about Redwall is because one of the images that they first shared with it, I can't remember what the opposition is for it, but it's literally a small mouse in like it's
armor?
in its armor and garb, holding a little like needle sword.
A little toothpick.
Yeah, a little
Oh,
like
my heart.
toothpick needle sword,
that,
and
kind-
it's
that reminds me of Secret of Nim. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, Duskmore and House of Horror. That one apparently. What is this? It says right here. According to Gen Con panel, this MTG set draws inspiration from 1980s era horror movies, straight down to being set in a haunted house. The
Hell yeah.
plane
hell yeah,
or the set takes
Yeah.
place inside a haunted house. It's
That's
like
so
it's like a fever
cool.
dream.
that's so
Player
Yeah.
beware, you're in for a scare.
American Horror Story fans, R.A. Style fans,
Hell yeah.
R.L. Stein fans, Haunting of Mike Flanagan fans.
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding me?
yeah.
So then we've also got in 2025 we got Innistrad remastered.
That'll be fun.
Another like arena.
Interesting that they're going back there so soon.
Well, the thing is, what they're focusing on with Arena is they're trying to backfill as hard as possible.
Yeah.
And one thing that they announced in this string of announcements was that, so Pioneer is a format that they created, like their standard. Standard is like this many sets, right?
Yep.
And it rotates forward.
Yep.
Modern goes back all the way to 8th edition and
Yep.
doesn't rotate.
Yep.
But Modern started to get so big that it's like too big of a card pool.
Yep.
So they hammered a line in the middle, right at Khans of Tarkir, and they banned fetch lands.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
they were like, we're making Pioneer.
Yeah.
So it's like it's going to be half Modern, not quite as deep as Modern. No fetch lands.
Yeah.
The fetch lands were in the set that it started at, but they
Yeah.
banned specifically the fetch lands because they wanted it to play different. And Pioneer has been a banger, like
Yeah.
an amazing format. But they've been trying desperately to backfill that onto Arena. And currently, they call the format Explorer.
Yeah.
It is Pioneer Diet,
Yeah.
but they said I think in 2025 they are going to reach threshold where they are going to have Pioneer
Yeah.
tournament Pioneer. They said it won't be every card like all the commons that nobody plays,
Yeah.
but they're going to have Pioneer ready to go on Arena, which is
Interesting.
huge
Yeah. That's,
because then
that's
they'll actually be
really
able to play
huge.
like online Pioneer tournaments on Arena.
That's really big.
That's
That's
awesome.
really fucking big.
And then we got
That
this.
makes me curious too, because they're reprinting the Shocklands.
Oh yeah, Wilds of Eldraine showed a
Shockland.
brief image of a old bordered hollow fountain.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So we're getting new Shocklands,
the
which is
race car
good
set.
news for everybody. The Shocklands, which also have kind of devalued over the last few years, just because of the other mana, the new dual taps that they've been releasing have been all kind of coming down in price. Your Shocklands,
Shocklands have the basic types though, so
Yeah.
they're never going to be
well,
bad.
never. But it's still good to know that the Shocklands are probably going to become a little bit more affordable for everybody.
Oh,
now.
actually, I got to remind myself because Double Masters apparently had the Tron lands in it.
Yeah.
Like Urza's Mine, Urza's Tower.
Oh,
I really need to buy a set of those, and
Dude,
it's probably the cheapest now.
Don't even be worried. The new Eldrazi deck, Modern Commander, they put them in the Commander deck.
Yeah, but there's only one each, probably, right?
No, all 3 in the Commander deck.
No, but one each. I want 4 each. I want to play.
You want a
play set for
Well, that's
Pauper
just what I mean, right? They're going to be devalued now. They reprinted them.
Well, but they're in double masters as well, so that
I
probably means
was
good
going to
things.
say, I lucked out. I got all of them.
Or sorry,
Yeah.
Commander Masters.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misspoke.
Well,
we did-
Double Masters some years ago. They did reprint the Tron lands then.
Oh, they did release this. No name for it yet, but tell me if you can figure
It
out
looks like
what.
Ugin.
No.
Oh, that is frickin'. Oh, they're going back to Tarkir.
Yep, Tarkir's coming back.
Holy crap.
Tarkir's coming back.
That is straight up a Jeskai monk.
Jeskai monk, and a big dragon, which I can't remember which dragon this is, but that is an image that they released.
I think that's a new legendary.
Are you saying that Miram is about to get even worse?
I think that's a new legendary.
Yeah, so we're going back to Tarkir. That's going to be one of the 2025 standard sets.
Ooh, can I throw something?
One of the most depressing stories to ever be released as well. It released some of the most amazing cards ever, but it was one of the wildly. It was not the story was so ill received because it was so depressing.
Yeah.
What's that? Tarkir?
Yeah, for the whole set. It's a cool thing because it leads up into the Shadows of Innistrad, Sorin trying to deal with the Eldrazi about to pop off in Zendikar. But pretty much with the time lapses, it kind of starts off with the first, and you have this idea of this how things were, and things are kind of cool, and then it goes to Sorin's aftermath of what he did, messing with time, and everything just sucks, and nobody's having a good time, and the Dragon Lords are omnipotent, and they are all of them, even Ojutai, huge dicks.
I'd love to throw a little something out there for us, knowing that we're going back to Innistrad now.
Well, no, Innistrad was remastered. Yeah. Tarkir is the one that we're talking about.
Okay, so we're not actually going back to Innistrad. They're just doing a remaster set.
The remastered sets are usually just like a amalgamation of all the things that have happened on that.
Dark Ascension, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Gristlebrand reprinted, maybe with new art.
Okay. Because it's still, I'll throw the anecdote out there anyways. We literally had this whole arc where we went back to Innistrad. Emrakul is now trapped in the Silver Moon. The Silver Moon is known for the reason why Innistrad is flooded with vampires and werewolves and all this stuff. You're going to put an Eldrazi Titan that's known for reshaping fucking life and matter and into the moon that is known for reshaping the life and matter of an entire planet. And you're not going to do anything with that? Sorry?
Well,
the story at least. You're not.
You know they've thought about what they got to do with that, right?
Oh, I know.
They've got a storyboard going.
Oh, I know.
Baby.
So anyway, the next thing we got is codename Volleyball.
That does not sell.
No, it's coming out in 2025. This is a space themed set. I think that will be a standard set.
I'm gonna make a call right now because when you first said volleyball, I was gonna throw the joke out there. Are we gonna see an 11 Alive and Dead nothing but anime waifus playing volleyball set?
Oh, dude, Dead or Alive?
Dead or Alive. Sorry, yeah, Dead or Alive.
Alive or Dead?
Yeah, Alive or Dead.
The code names.
Never played the game.
The code names have no relation to what the set is like. It's
I'm going to make a call then.
Volleyball concept.
It's space themed. I'm going to make a call then because it could potentially be Universes Beyond, correct? We don't know any information?
No, I believe. Well, I can't.
No, if we're going off of that concept art, then I'm going to say no. I was going to say if it was Universes Beyond, it would make so much sense for them to steer into Dead Space, which I also wouldn't have liked as that, but it would make so much sense. It's visceral cosmic horror.
I adore Dead Space.
Yeah, so do I. I'm
not sure it could cross over successfully enough.
If they're doing it, if they're doing Assassin's Creed, Dead Space is on the.
They already have that kind of concept with Phyrexians. I don't.
Yeah, there's the art for Assassin's Creed.
And even though.
I know. I've seen some of
Dead
that.
Space, to lead into some of the meta behind Dead Space, it leads into the effect of what the Eldrazi have.
Yeah,
I think it's.
Cool magic art of Ezio. I don't want him. I don't want to. I don't want to see somebody play.
Yeah, you fucked up with Artemis. I don't give a shit about Ezio.
I don't want to play it. I don't want to see somebody play fucking Ezio.
All right, we're probably. I wonder how far we are into this podcast. We finally got through all of the
We got through all of them?
Well, I believe so. There's this one
Basically.
here as well that's like there's a set that they're releasing, codename Tennis. It is going to focus around racing cars. And it was the one that I was telling you about outside of the recording here, where they're going to merge two planes together that people, because of this is all taking place within the Omen Path arc, which because of the things that happened in recent sets, it has opened it up to the Omen Paths. Basically, tourists can go from one plane to the next.
You know what? I think this is amazing, refreshing. We've had planeswalkers setting the bar for who can and can't direct the story, and now we have. With Wizards wanting to take back from legendary creatures as well as planeswalkers with the new arc with All Will Be One and all that kind of shit. With the War Against the Phyrexians. This is a really cool way to refresh the story.
Yeah, the universe is open to the universe, and I really love that idea.
And now we get crossovers, not only like Universes Beyond, but we get potentially like race car. We get like I don't know what the plane is for Battle Bond. But like we get like Kaladesh and Battle Bond or whatever. Like the people get to like hang out.
Yep. It's going to be interesting.
If that is what they're combining. I am literally, since you revealed it, so stoked on this Western. It's one of my favorite themes. I really am.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
I thought that was going to be the most controversial.
Most people don't expect this from me because I'm hardcore metalhead and goth and industrial and techno, and I love me some country music, folk, bluegrass.
I will.
You'll catch me at a freaking folk fest, and I will be singing along with the drunks.
I mean, personally speaking, like the Wild West is the defining line for me between the high fantasy and the too real world. Because it's like it is very real world, but it's just in that scope of
unexplored terrain.
It was the literally unexplored. It was the last frontier of humanity exploring an Earth that we had otherwise bastardized.
When a dust devil represented the difference between sex and death.
Okay,
you know what I mean.
And that's our show.
That's a good place. That's a good place to end it.
Thanks for coming down to this rant.
Yeah, this was a big one. This was wild. We
had a lot to cover today, and we were also trying to we're trying to catch up with some lost content. So we hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, I feel like we caught up great.
Absolutely, I think we caught up with all of it.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts on some of these new planes, where we're going, other places that you'd like to see Magic go to in the future. Like, let us know that. Maybe we'll cover some of that in a future episode of the podcast.
Anything at all, we'll have our 2 cents for it, guaranteed.
We got Wilds of Eldraine coming out
somewhat soon.
We've seen some cards from that, right?
I don't know if we've seen spoiler cards yet, but we're like right on the cusp of seeing them. We've seen a bunch of artwork is what we've seen.
Right, yeah. I can't remember if they've shown anything, but I mean, man, like Magic releases, it's just a fury of nonstop preview season.
Yeah, it's been a lot lately.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm really excited to draft more. Like the fact, man, this draft that I just did, and like, I can't wait. Oh, actually, yeah, you're doing your birthday tournament here soon, which is like a commander tournament. Commander tournament with caveats. I'm
turning 34 and I decided to play God, and so far it's been an interesting development of events. I really wanted to add in stipulations to this tournament to literally promote synergized teamwork, and it's been a bit of a headache. And so far we're getting a lot of really cool responses from it. Frankly, a lot of learning. Yeah, a lot of learning coming from this.
Yeah, people heard rules and synergize, and they immediately decided that meant, we're going to try and break those rules and not synergize.
Which is understandable in a tournament setting. It actually made more sense than anything I could have. And in hindsight, I should have predicted that, but that is not the point of this discussion. Yeah. Wait for some more news from that. We're going to have some content involving that. I'm turning a big old 34 years old, and I want to get
we're going to live stream it.
Yeah, we're having a good old time and literally just promote friendship for the most part.
The reason I brought it up was because I also have a birthday coming up in December, and I have a box of Commander Legends sitting up there in the cabinet. And I think maybe we should do, because I didn't get to draft that set. Yeah. And I kept that box because I wanted to draft. You know what?
Yeah.
It's funny that's old school. It's like
if you get the Jewel Lotus, baby, there's some serious heat from that set.
Truth be told as well, the affordability might come down, or like the affordability might be better for it as well. What if we did a box of Commander Masters and Commander Legends as a dual draft.
Old and new.
No, okay, so I want to draft that in an 8-person pod, isolated with the rules. I want to do it like it's supposed to be done.
Okay.
So that's what I saved that for.
Okay.
But what I want to make tradition for Tanner's birthday on the Rogues Passage.
Okay.
Every birthday, I want to do a chaos draft.
Ooh, I love that.
That's pretty sweet.
Crave doing a chaos draft.
And what is that?
A chaos draft, for those that don't know, is basically an 8-person pod, 3 packs each. It's 24 different packs. You have to find 24 booster packs that do not match. 24 different sets. And you throw them in a giant pile.
That sounds rough, but
and
I love
each
it.
person starts with whatever 3 packs they are distributed or choose.
Yep.
And it's an incredibly different game, because you're not looking like, if you're, let's say you open a pack of Ixalan or whatever and you get Merfolk Mistbinder, other Merfolk get +1/+1. The card's fucking useless.
Yeah.
Right? It's useless. That's going to wheel. Nobody's going to pick it because you're drafting from 23 other packs that don't have Merfolk.
It doesn't matter if they get stuck with it in the draft.
It's a set about drafting. Like, oh god, we got to go in. I got to do an episode all about the fundamentals of draft.
Yeah,
we'll do a whole episode on that.
The heart of draft is the CABS theory, the CABS, cards that affect the board state. Like, you drafting a 4/4 for 4 with haste. Like, that card just, it hits the board, it does something, right?
Drafting Vorinclex when I did Kaldheim drafts. That won me games.
Right. Cards that hit the battlefield and pull you out of a shitty situation and put you ahead, or cards that just do something. Like, you don't want to. Chaos draft is like, you don't draft the enchantments that try to synergize with other stuff in the set, because you're not going to see any other cards in the set, right? It's such a different game, and I love Chaos Draft, and I haven't done one in years. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do for my birthday. The glasses are going back on. That means we're going to go another hour. Let's get into this.
Look at the sex appeal. It's incremental. It's incredible. It's insane.
Yeah, we got to go to bed.
Yeah, we got to go to bed.
We're
going to sign off. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much for this episode.
Remember to like, subscribe, tell us everything that you want in the comments. Go on huge rants. Give us your entire life story. We will reply and we will read it all. And then hit that like button.
Yeah.
Subscribe, follow, all that shit.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Sell your souls.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Later.